The thumbnail of this video poses a simple question. What's next? Or more specifically, what's next for my Bendy SFM animations? While the answer to this question is quite obvious, I decided to make an 11-minute video on the topic because I'm bored. So yeah. What's up, LV viewers? Instead of breaking down a game I've played, I think it's time I evaluate something of my own. Something that is undoubtedly the largest, most elaborate project I have ever taken on. Something that I've been working on since February of 2019. Something that I like to call my Bendy in the Ink Machine SFM Saga. A lot of planning has and is still going into this project, so let's talk about it, since I haven't really been all that transparent about it on the channel. This video is divided into multiple parts, and where better to start than what came first? The base of the plan was simple. 5 Bendy animations, each with their own song. 1 per chapter. And ideally I wanted to focus on a different character to follow and flesh out in each video. However, it's when I started to assign each animation with a song and character where things grew a tad more complicated. So how did that process go? Some characters came naturally, like Samuel Lawrence for Chapter 2 and Alice Angel with Chapter 3. Although at Chapter 1, my only real option was the Ink Demon himself due to how short and limited Bendy's introduction level is. Chapter 4 made sense to focus on Bertram Piedmont, as a bulk of the chapter is spent in the amusement park of Bendyland, but I later realized it would be better to focus on the Lost Ones as a whole, rather than just Bertram. Lastly, Chapter 5 presented some challenges. The characters you by far see the most are Allison and Tom, yet when you really break it down, they aren't as integral to the plot like everyone else I've decided on. At least not at this time. The 5th chapter is also the final one, and it didn't feel right to end on these 2 characters you meet at the very end of the previous installment. I needed to find something better. For a moment I even considered doing Ink Bendy again because of my unoriginality. He was the final boss and is the primary antagonist of the game, appearing in every stage, but I, indeed, did come up with something better. Something I'm not going to share quite yet. Next up was deciding the songs, which was by far a more difficult process. Just like before, chapters 2 and 3 were the easiest to choose. All Eyes on Me by Oreo has always been a favorite of mine, and there was no doubt in my mind to select it for Alice Angel. Additionally, I Believe by Try Hard Ninja is a song I think is criminally underrated. I loved it when I first heard it and knew it would be the best fit for the Chapter 2 animation I wanted to make. Throughout its entire life, DAGames' Build Our Machine has remained at the top of the food chain and is undeniably the most iconic Bendy song out in the wild. It was also a fairly easy choice because of that. Song ideas for the remaining 2 chapters were also tossed around during this point, but those will also be kept under wraps. Although it is worth noting that Chapter 5's choice of music was changed at some point later down the line. I began brainstorming for this project during my first year of high school and knew that the perfect deadline to complete everything would be by my graduation in May of 2022. This completion mark has not been changed since and is still my intended target. To any future LV viewers, did I make it? While the plans were never finalized from the start, I fully got to work in February of 2019. In fact, it was Bendy's 2nd anniversary that jump-started everything. Chapter 1 was completed during that summer in late July, and Chapter 2 started the following year in 2020. Unfortunately, the project was in limbo for a while since some assets weren't available, but I eventually decided to press on without them since I was waiting for stuff that may never come. In hindsight, I'm glad I did this. Due to interesting global circumstances, as I'll put it, this animation had a swift 2-month creation cycle and was uploaded in April to match the chapter's anniversary. This became the point of no return as I was already 2/5 done with the whole project. However, that short animation period was also a result of me working on that video almost non-stop for several weeks since I had the free time. Come the Halloween season of that year, I realized it was time to ride the animation train once again and kick back into high gear. Halloween Day itself was when I first announced Chapter 3 and showed the first glimpses of the animation. Progress was made steadily over the next few months all the way up until its release just last month in April. Now, it doesn't take a genius to see the one crucial flaw in this timeline. The rate I've been going at this whole time has only allowed for 1 animation a year, which clearly conflicts with my end goal of 1 year from now. There are 2 animations left, and things don't look so good on the surface. However, there are 2 important things of note. Much like Chapter 2, I plan on completing the bulk of Chapter 4 during a school break. I'm currently aiming to have it done by fall, with Chapter 5 starting production soon after. Assuming each animation will take a similar amount of time to create, this means that Chapter 5 will have a very similar development to Chapter 3. This leads to the next important item, my work pacing. With each animation, there would be multiple months in between where the next would start. But this isn't the case anymore. I've just come off of Chapter 3, and I feel almost ready to hop into full production mode on the next chapter. I want to keep my pace from now on as consistent as possible, not too fast and not too slow. Before concluding this video, I wanted to do a quick segment for frequently asked questions I foresee myself getting about this project. If there's anything else you want to ask that isn't answered here, leave it in the comments and I'll try my best to reply to it. Will you animate anything for Bendy in the Dark Revival or Boris in the Dark Survival? Probably not, but I don't want to dismiss the possibility completely. I could always change my mind, but I only have plans for Bendy in the Ink Machine at the moment. Will the rest of the channel be neglected while working on this? At points it may seem like that, but the channel should still operate as usual for the most part. Animations aren't the main attraction around here, as I like doing a variety of content. Gameplay videos and reviews will still be released at normal rates like they have been. How will progress be shared? For my past 2 animations, I've shared early teasers and other behind the scenes content on my Twitter. I plan to continue doing this going forward, but each teaser will mark the completion of something specific for the animation, like the chorus or a verse or something. Just know that I will probably be way more open about the project on my Discord server and might even share additional information there. I would like to stream progress on the animation at some point for fun, but I'll see how I feel about that when the opportunity presents itself. Has Chapter 4 already begun production? After Chapter 3, I made it a point with myself to take a month-long break before getting back on the horse. That month has passed, and Chapter 4 is, indeed, in production. I should state, however, that no actual animation has been done so far. The only things I have done at this moment in time is a lot of planning, and I have lit a few key areas. I have in mind the animation I want to create, I just have to bring it to life now. What is the song choice for Chapter 4? With each animation, I've revealed the songs earlier and earlier. Chapter 1 was hinted at in the trailer, but wasn't fully confirmed until the animation was finished. Chapter 2 had a full-blown confirmation at the end of the trailer, and Chapter 3 was shown right out of the gate with the first teaser. It seems we've hit a pattern, and I say let's follow suit one last time. Chapter 4's song is DAGames' theMeatly. Why cover 2 songs by the same artist? To spell it out, DAGames is the musician behind multiple Bendy songs on YouTube, including Builder Machine and meatly. Both of those songs were designed for my animations, so to answer the question, it's my project and I could do whatever I want. Nah, I'm just kidding. Though that is true, I simply don't feel that there's a better song out there that represents Chapter 4 as much as meatly. Ideas also just came by more naturally with this choice. Did you ever consider other songs? I love so many more Bendy songs than just the 5 I chose for this project. Bend You Till You Break, Art of Darkness, and Kyle Allen's Bendy in the Ink Machine song, just to name a few. These selections and a few others were on the table early on, but removed as the winning song spoke to me more for this particular project. What if you failed to meet the deadline? It won't be the end of the world, but it would be quite disheartening not winning it. Worst case scenario, I'll continue to work on the project just until it's done. If I miss the date, everything will still release, just at a later time than originally intended. Why work on this project so long after the original game came out? Bendy is a franchise I've held very dearly for a long time now. It has a special place in my heart, and I've loved seeing what other creators have done in the animation scene with it. Regardless of relevancy, this is a project I wanted to pursue. I had and still have a lot of passion to finish what I started. I make videos, especially animations, for fun, not for fame or anything along those lines. All of this is a hobby I care for a lot about, it's as simple as that. There's also you guys as well. Fans have shown interest in my animations, and no matter how big or small my audience is, I don't want to let them down or leave them hanging. Will you still be using Source Filmmaker? I've been using SFM as my animation program for over 5 years now. I started learning it in middle school, and while I don't consider myself amazing at the program or anything, I have certainly improved. I mean, just look at the comparison. But you can't hide the fact that SFM is almost a decade-old piece of software. It hasn't been updated since 2015 and runs on a game engine from the year I was born. SFM functions, but has a fair share of problems under its hood, as I'm sure some of you know. To put it simply, the program is clunky. Yeah, clunky. I don't think I can find a better word that describes it. It works when it works, but the main issue I come across is the software crashing frequently. Sometimes I don't lose any progress, and those are happy days. but other times it's the end of the world where I do lose progress. Granted, I am working with a lot of lights and models, so I can understand why it's like this, but it doesn't make it any less annoying. Many SFM animators I watch, and even some of my friends, have moved on to Blender, which I have full intention of learning after all 5 chapters are done. This is to stay consistent and have Chapter 5 be not only the send-off to my Bendy animation saga, but also my time with SFM. Is this video longer and more serious than it has any right being? Yes. Most content on my channel leans toward entertainment more than anything. Because of that, I appreciate those of you listening right now who stuck around watching this more informative video. Transparency is something I value from creators, and I never want to leave my own fans in the dark on anything. I am, don't get me wrong, 100% making a bigger deal out of this project than I should be, but what can I say, I'm passionate about my work. Bendy and Ink Machine SFM Chapters 4 and 5 are coming, and I'm working hard to ensure that they are the best they can be. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.